everyone. This is Karen, or you might know me as Shaman. I'll adjust the lights here so it's a little bit better. Maybe I'll hold it actually. A lot of people ask me, how is it, let me see if I can get a good spot here where I can talk. How is it that you help people to heal? And that's a really good question. And it's a really good question in 2018 because people don't see other people healing today. What do I mean by that? Well, you see that you bring people into the doctor's office and the doctor checks them. They put a little cuff on their finger to check their oxygen. And they do a variety of things to check. And then they offer a form of treatment. The treatment might be that you're going to go to the pharmacy and pick up a medication, or what I call a drug. The treatment might entail that you're going to go have a surgery. You might go to physical therapy if you've had an accident or something like that. But the way that I help people heal is quite a bit different from what most people see today. Back when I was a little girl in the mid-1960s, I was being taught a great many things about how to use the mind. Spiritualism was still present in a lot of the grandmothers that were carrying it through, and for sundry reasons. And at the same time, once I became an adult, around the mid-1980s, I happened to stumble upon, while being a student at West Valley College in Saratoga, California, and getting my AA there in liberal arts, philosophy and psychology, so physiological psych and courses like that. Bless up who's ever on board. I was, poked, and they said, why don't you go to this raw foods class? It's raw foods for reversing cancer with Pamela Masters. And so I thought to myself, it was pretty expensive. It was several $100s. Here I was, a college student. And I went to this raw foods for reversing cancer. Here it is, the mid-1980s. I got my my AA in 1989. So I was a beginning college student. And I thought to myself, what am I going to eat? Like a bunch of these little baby carrots or something? I mean, it seemed kind of ridiculous. As much as I loved, fruits and vegetables, I thought, how would I live on raw food? This is kind of crazy. And during that class with Pamela Masters in the mid-80s, I was absolutely, my eyes were opened just to the fullest. It was such an amazing epiphany to find out that she had gone to Hippocrates Institute, and she had had cancer. To me, she was kind of an older woman. She was 50, and now here I am, 57 this summer. And I thought to myself, this is crazy, because she was making soups and pâtés, and we had all these recipes given to us from Hippocrates Institute. And I thought, this is just wonderful. This is quite a bit better than what I ever thought. And we began to transfer it, meaning, my friends from college, into making, vegetable spaghettis and things like that. So it was really great. Now, if you kind of fast forward, I ended up going to herbal school, American School of Herbalism in Santa Cruz, and becoming an herbalist and certified. And I went to massage school at the Lupin. At the time, there was a Center for Conscious Touch in 1997 that was done in a yurt with Stuart Grace. And throughout all these years, when something would come up with my health, because I grew up in a family that didn't really doctor as much, those were kind of being reinforced by the schools, who said, you got to go get your physical exam every year. In the same way, the schools were positioning, you need your protein and your calcium, and here's your little, bucket of cow milk that you're going to drink, these little containers. And so it's really been a fun journey. It's been a journey where I've learned a lot. And later, I found out that these mercury amalgam fillings that were put into my mouth were really the biggest problem that I had with my own health. It's something that destroyed my thyroid, and it's something that caused me a great deal of anxiety. And it also caused me at one point in my life to look really bipolar, because I couldn't manage my emotions. And I'm being very candid with you, because a lot of people have these mercury amalgam fillings, and they're just one small part of what we do to get well is to get rid of them, to help get rid of the mercury that's in the body. So when I work with someone, this is kind of the long and short of it, is that the first thing I need to do is gather. I have them fill out a form that I have on my website. This isn't to sell anybody, it's just that oftentimes when you're helping other people to heal, their friends and relatives start to get their hackles up. They start to say, well, wait a minute, how come they're getting so thin? And how come you can't have friends over? And how come you have to eat such a weird diet? I mean, that doesn't even, it seems kind of cultish and kind of weird. And it is weird. And these people are genuinely and affectionately ignorant. They have no clue whatsoever that the human body was so compromised, likely for decades, that they became full of parasites, that their digestive and elimination channels were totally plugged up, mucoid plaque, parasites, mucus, phlegm. The body started developing all these cysts, and the thyroid went. Maybe the spleen and the liver started getting just so overburdened it just couldn't handle it anymore. And so what I do is I step in and I gather so I can keep people as safe as possible. I'm not a Western allopathic doctor. I'm a shaman. I was groomed to be a shaman from the time I was a little girl in the early 1960s. I felt things with my palm. I had extremely high level intuitive abilities. I'm able to sense and scan, and I've developed it no different than you would your biceps or another muscle. I worked on it. I spent tens of thousands of dollars attending other courses, like I've described, and a lot more than that. So I gather. The goal is to first keep somebody stable and safe, right? First, do no harm, the Hippocratic Oath. And then after that, what I want to be able to do is help them to get onto a diet that they're willing to do that's going to help take down all the inflammation, help take down the belly, which is hormone storage for some people. And sometimes it means that they go down to a pretty thin weight. Dr. Sebi and Arnold Ehret and who else? Dr. Shook, Hilton Hotema. There are so many people that for hundreds of thousands of years, we knew how to heal. But today, we go to the doctor's office and we just submit everything over. And that might not be the wrong choice for you. I'm not saying that it is. But often, it's not the choice that I make. Often the choice that I make and some of my clients, like I just got a call here a little while ago with a woman who has lupus. And I have a good lupus testimonial on my website. I have a stage 3 kidney disease testimonial on my website. I actively work with Parkinson's disease, cancer, ovarian cancer, and many different things. And what you have to look at is how congested and full of mucus are they? How much do they need to detoxify? Once they detoxify, then I'm able to, we obtain a hair test if the person's willing to do that, find out what heavy metals are involved, find out what the mineral balances are, and we work up a plan. It might be more massage, and it might be getting rid of your fluoride toothpaste. And, I cover a lot of detail with some clients that want to invest a little more, meaning more time and more energy is put into it. They're like, hey, I don't want this right now. I want to get rid of it. And I know that I'm going to have to put my part into it. So I'm a coach. I'm a shaman. I'm a guide. I'm someone that helps them through it. And I have 34 years of experience as an adult, and I gather and research and study every single day, because it's my passion. So you can imagine that when friends and family see mom or dad or grandma super thin, maybe there's a lot of bony protrusions, their spine, their spine is kind of bony. Maybe they're not eating much. Maybe they seem like they're really just kind of confused. The body is trying to reset itself. And if you go back and you read these authors and you've had the experiences that I've had, you will see that when people dump the worms, and usually it's pinworms first, and they detoxify the body, balance out the hormones, get onto a simpler diet to digest and eliminate. then the body starts reorganizing itself. It's called homeostasis. It knows how to find its correct levels and measures. So that's what I do. I help people, and that's also how I make my living. So for probably 10 to 15 years, and I don't have an exact on this, I just helped people for free. Just from the goodness of my heart, for my bread labor, I was working as a senior paralegal, a certificated paralegal in family law, and I worked in San Jose, California. I worked in Santa Cruz. I worked for the DA. I worked at Santa Cruz County Judges Chambers, had my own office there, and I got paid to research and write. And my time, because that was my bread labor, and I enjoyed it to some extent, but it wasn't going to be a forever career. My true gift, my calling, my nature, what's in my Yotish astrology is that I'm a dancer, I'm a healer, I'm a seer, I'm a natural mystic. And I help people achieve results, everything from getting their hair to come back in, the simplest of things, to the most complex. Because I've held the hands of a great many people virtually through FaceTime all over the world, through Facebook video, Skype. Back in the day, it was just through telephone, intuitively, through the gathering, through detoxification, through putting together an anti-inflammatory diet, through helping them review some of their personal products, to a few very high-level clients that needed me to do some very executive level work for them, that they knew they could trust me. They built a trust in me. So I'm a person with a lot of courage and integrity and strength, and I've ridden through my own healing. I'm not a perfect person. I don't have the most perfect health in the world, but at almost 57 this summer, I'm strong and vibrant. I've got a nice thick head of hair. This is all mine. And I make the best of life that I can, and I'm very appreciative of it. So I'm not here to flash cleavage and abs and to sell you some fancy product. I'm here to talk about the truth, and the truth is what will set you free. I have future YouTube videos that I will be bringing, which will talk about things that I have given a great deal of contemplation, meditation, and time and investment that I believe will definitely help our world become more connected. I published my second book just late last year called Detox and Heal Your Thyroid. And that's because I had read through everything I could get my hands on about thyroid, and I realized none of it was going to help people to reverse their thyroid issue because they weren't comprehensive enough to go over, like I do in the consultations, more in depth, molecular level iodine, eating the seaweed, changing the diet. And, if there are people that are just absolutely unwilling to change the diet, well, they probably should find someone else because it probably isn't going to work with me. In fact, I'm pretty selective about who I work with today, because if you work with people that are extremely ignorant, then you put yourself out on the line. And I'm not a doctor. I'm someone that helps them to detox and resurrect themselves through building themselves into a stronger being. Okay? So I just want to touch base again and be here drinking some nice coconut water. And I wish you a beautiful day, and I'll be back a lot more often now. So if you'd like to spread the word, this is not to monetize me or make a boatload of money. This is to help make strong changes in the world and for our great mother. All right. I think I know how to shut it off now.